Aha! Did you think the preseason would be quiet? A defensive bomb is about to explode in the NFC North. Poles has his sights on the most feared QB hunter in the league. Imagine this, a monster with over 14 sacks in 2024 lined up next to the king of sacks. Yes, the one who turns quarterbacks into poker chips. Are we paying $40 million and a second-round pick for 2 years of purebred terror? This is not a negotiation. It's a declaration of war on the division. But attention! The offense is also on fire. Will the veteran who dominates the routes return, or will we take a leap for the Lightning from Kansas City that escaped the champion? Ben Johnson demands speed, but the old wolf wants his last contract. Do we risk millions on a receiver who could disappear or bet on a cheap and deadly projectile? And beware! If the offensive line continues to be a sieve, not even Mahomes survives here. But wait, here comes the big news. Amidst all this madness, did you know there's a beast in the draft that cuts through defenses like a hot knife through butter? 1,500 rushing yards, 21 TDs. A rookie who roared with a stick offensive line. Do you want to put a Lamborghini behind Caleb, or will we continue stuck with a toy engine? Warning, if Poles doesn't fix the trenches first, even Prime would be a nobody. But imagine this dynamite in the backfield with space. I have something that will blow your mind, Bears fan. Is Chicago about to make the most epic move of the season? Because the waters are moving in the NFC North. Do you think Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are enough? You're wrong. Do you know what's missing here? A monster that changes the game in the trenches. And today, I bring you the name that has the league terrified. First, pure context. Did you recently see Philadelphia crush Kansas City in the Super Bowl? Absolute dominance on the line. And what did we do? 5-12, friends. Caleb Williams running for his life every game. And now, Ben Johnson arrives with fresh ideas, but what good is an offensive genius if the defense is made of cobwebs? Enter Myles Garrett, 6-time Pro Bowl, 2023 Defensive Player of the Year, 22 TFL, 14 sacks. A titan that shreds offenses like paper. Can you imagine this man next to Montez Sweat? Rodgers, Goff, and Cousins would tremble before playing US. But Cleveland wants to release him, and Chicago is eyeing the crosshairs. I ask you, $40 million over 2 years? The Bears have $65 million in CAP space. And an extra second-round pick from Carolina. What are Poles and Warren doing? Are they sitting idly by or firing the missile that makes U.S. contenders? I tell you this, if they don't go after Garrett, they're giving away the season. Arguments? Take note. First, immediate impact. Garrett is not just a sack machine. His presence elevates the entire front seven. Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon would have freedom to create chaos. Second, time window. With Caleb on his rookie contract, now is the time to invest in defense. Ben Johnson can develop young and cheap talent on offense. Third, message to the NFC. Want to scare Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota? Put Garrett in their faces. We would be the most feared defense in the division. But the risk? Of course it exists. Garrett is 29 years old. How much fuel does he have left? Are 2 years of him worth a second-round pick and $20 million annually? I say yes. Because without QB pressure, Caleb won't go far, and this move would transform Chicago from a project to a legitimate threat. Last warning, Bears management, you have the money. You have the draft capital. And a fan base that demands going all out. If you let Garrett pass out of fear of investing, what do I tell the fans? That we're still in eternal rebuild mode? No! It's time to act like the big boys. Now I ask you, should the Bears bleed for Myles Garrett? Or is it too risky? I bring you a bomb that could change everything in the Windy City. Yes, I mean the possible return of Keenan Allen. Do you give this veteran another contract? Or do you go for a younger and more explosive receiver? Oh no, this is a crossroads that has Ryan Poles in the eye of the storm. First, why would Keenan Allen want to return? The man said it clearly. He would like to play in Los Angeles or in Chicago. Did you hear that, fans? After a 2024 with more drops than catches, Allen still feels something for this team. But watch out, the landscape is not the same. Now they have Ben Johnson, the offensive brain that tore up defenses in Detroit. Do you think Allen fits into a scheme that prioritizes speed? Because Johnson likes to play fast. And the veteran, at 32 years old, does he have that drive? And speaking of money, the Bears have $70 million in cap space. But be careful, they can't waste it. Allen is looking for a good contract, but is it worth investing in a receiver who might lose a step in 2025? I tell you this, Hollywood Brown, free agent from Kansas City, is cheaper, younger, and runs like a Marvel hero. Wouldn't you prefer someone who makes secondaries tremble with pure speed? And costs less. But wait, the offensive line is disastrous. Caleb Williams was sacked 68 times, a shameful record. If they don't fix that, what's the point of having Allen or Brown if the QB is on the ground? Prioritize protecting the franchise, Ryan Poles. And don't forget the edge rusher, the running back. There are too many holes in the ship. Here's my verdict. If Allen accepts a short contract, like 1 year and $8 million, sign him now. But if he demands more, I'd rather invest in Brown and use the draft for the line. What would you do? Comment. And now what, Bears fans? Do you bet on Allen's experience or Hollywood's youth? This is a season-defining decision. If you were Ryan Poles, would you sign Keenan Allen even if it risks other key reinforcements? Or would you prioritize speed and low cost with Hollywood Brown? Do you think the Chicago Bears need a star running back to change the course of this franchise? I tell you right now, Ryan Poles has a golden opportunity in this draft to give an epic twist to the offense, and the answer could be in Iowa. Pay attention! Here's the exclusive report. Caleb Johnson, the Hawkeyes running back who destroyed Big Ten defenses in 2024. 1,537 rushing yards. 21 touchdowns. 6.4 yards PR carry. And you know what else? Only 20 years old. This young man not only has the stats, he has the attitude. PFF gave him an 86.2 rating, the third highest among all college running backs. He's a beast after contact. Acceleration on another level when he breaks the second line. But here's the debate, Bears family, should we really use a day 2 pick on a running back when the offensive and defensive lines are still a disaster? I'll be honest, Ben Johnson, our new offensive coach, worked in Detroit with a 2 running back system. Gibbs and Montgomery were a killer duo. And us? Swift and Roscoe Johnson. Swift comes off a season with 923 yards. Is it enough? Of course not. But wait, isn't it ironic that the surname Johnson is on both sides of the rumor? Ben Johnson, coach, wants to replicate his scheme, and Caleb Johnson, the prospect, would be the ideal piece. Especially because Ryan Poles has almost $70 million in cap space and draft capital to rebuild the trenches first. Here's this crucial fact, Caleb could fall to the 3rd round. Imagine stealing such talent without sacrificing premium picks. Ashton Jeanty is a legend, but is it worth burning the 1st round on an RB when this draft is full of depth at the position? I say no. It's better to take a tackle or an edge rusher in the top 10, and then hunt Johnson on day 2. Now, pay attention to this. Do you know why Caleb Johnson is different? In Iowa, the air offense was non-existent. All defenses knew they were going to run, and still couldn't stop him. 240 carries. 22 receptions. He literally carries the team. And the 2024 Bears headache? Inconsistency in yards after contact. Caleb averages 3.8 YAC, double that of Roscoe. But here's my warning, if Poles doesn't fix the offensive line in free agency, it doesn't matter who's behind. A Lamborghini doesn't run on a dirt road. We need 3 new starters on the OL, but if we achieve that, Johnson would be the ultimate accelerant for Ben Johnson's scheme. I end with this. If the Bears fix the trenches in March, wouldn't it be crazy not to give Caleb Williams, or our QB, a weapon like Caleb Johnson? A running back who can turn 2-yard carries into 20-yard explosions. Someone who dominates in the red zone. Someone who, I tell you without fear, can be the Rookie of the Year in the NFC North. And now, the question for you, the Bears Nation, should Ryan Poles invest a 2nd or 3rd round pick in Caleb Johnson? Or is it better to ignore the position and focus 100% on strengthening the offensive and defensive lines? Listen up, Bears Nation! This offseason is a historic crossroads for Chicago, and every decision matters. 3 key questions divide the fan base. Is it worth trading multiple draft picks and choking the team's financial capacity for Myles Garrett, or would it be a short-term move risking long-term rebuilding? If you had to choose a receiver to mark the Caleb Williams era, would you lean towards Keenan Allen, whose route running and experience could accelerate the QB's growth? Or would you bet on Hollywood Brown's speed to force defenses to play scared? Caleb Johnson is on the radar. Do you think using a day 2 pick, second or third round, on a running back is a smart investment to balance the offense? Or should the Bears completely ignore luxury positions and focus solely on strengthening the offensive and defensive lines? We want you to be part of this debate. Share your strategy. This channel would be nothing without your voice. Subscribe now to join a community where we analyze every move, controversy, and rumor without filters. Together we will build the roadmap to the next Super Bowl. Ready to be part of the most passionate Bears family on YouTube? Share your opinion in the comments, subscribe, and let's make history. See you next time, Bears Nation.